Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I'm back with a little bit of love, justice, and frolicking in the form of this here Pandora's Box, the 121B. If you're wondering why I'm calling it Pandora's Box, well, go look up your Mythology 101, because basically Pandora has been opened with this thing, and I'll get to why exactly and the how-fors as we progress. There are things about this tank that I find very, very challenging in terms of the way it's available, in terms of the premise. It actually sets to tier 10 getting a premium tank. And in terms of my thoughts, which are probably going to be quite unpopular on inverted commas fair. And then I will actually talk about the tank in this video as well, but I want to really get to grips with some important questions and some important topics. Firstly, I think that most people will agree, and I certainly agree, that the crate system is stupid. It is gambling, and it should not be in a video game in any way, shape, or form. It's just absolutely ludicrous. But for all that, I then have the counterpoint to that if you don't like it, don't spend any money. That's exactly my thoughts on the process. If you don't feel that it is affordable, if you don't feel like you're comfortable spending money on crates and getting no guaranteed return, don't spend any money. And I'll tell you why. If you don't spend any money on the crates, Wargaming will stop doing crates. You know why Wargaming does crates? Because they make money off it, because there's a very, very good return on it, because they can do a crate. Not a lot of tanks will come out, so they minimize the negative outcomes, which is having a horde of premium tanks running around at tier 10, and they maximize the positive outcomes, which is let's make money so we can pay people who actually are involved in our company, and everyone gets the benefit. And everyone does get the benefit, because when Wargaming makes money, they actually improve the game. Go and have a look at the game when it was released. Have a look at the crappy graphics. Have a look at the fact that you don't have a clan. You can't be in a clan. Have a look at the limited equipment system. Have a look at the very, very limited amount of tanks. Have a look at the very bland maps. Have a look at the absolute lack of complexity in all different facets of the product. And realize that things have gotten better. Things have gotten a lot better, and they've gotten a lot better because the game has been worthwhile as an investment from Wargaming's perspective, and they've made cash off it. And they are a corporate body. That's one thing, right? My big issue, though, is I don't want premium tanks at tier 10. I don't want Wargaming to cave and say, fair enough, we will sell it. Because, like, can I just give you this hypothetical? Wargaming says, yeah, no, we won't do the 121 in crates anymore. We're going to sell it. We're going to sell it for $180 US. Do you think that will stop people who are screaming Wallet Warrior because someone spent enough to get it in crates from screaming Wallet Warrior? Do you think that is a fairer and more equitable situation? Because it certainly won't give greater access to the bloody tank. It'll just mean that the people who are more comfortable spending more money on the tank will buy the tank. And what about if they put it on for $50? Well, here's my problem with that. I don't like that. Because if they put it on for $50, hordes of people will buy this tank because it's a good tank. And I'll get that out of the way right now. The tank is a fine, fine vehicle. And you will have a whole heap of premium tanks at tier 10. And I don't like the idea of tier 10 becoming a premium playground. There are M60s in the game, and whether you have an aversion to the M60, whether it is a traditionally salt-inducing feast or just something that you picked up because you've bought a lot of war chests, is not here nor there. What it is a fact of life. We have a few M60s in the game, but you can walk out, do 3k damage, just like I'm doing in this tank, and get a mastery badge. That's why I included that 3k mastery at the start, by the way. I forgot to get to that. Yeah, I'm kind of going off pissed. Tier 10 is where the best players roll. It is where carrying is quite often the hardest to do. It is where pretty much everyone is able to go and know they will be top tier against big hit point, complex vehicles with lots and lots of different attributes and skill sets and try to do their best. There are not a whole lot of fake tanks. If you don't like Lupuses, if you don't like 047s, if you don't like Helsings, if you don't like Draculas, if you just want to have a bunch of tech tree tanks going against other tech tree tanks, then Tier 10 is for you. And I worry if Wargaming starts selling this tank at a, inverted commas, fair price, which I think is a ridiculous notion, the whole concept of fair anyway, you will end up with more 121Bs in this game than you can shake a stick at. And although everyone might think that's a great idea, I think it is a god-awful idea. It will remove that special something that Tier 10 currently has, and if it's profitable, it will be something that Wargaming will quite possibly try to repeat. And that will mean that you'll end up with a lot more premium tanks at Tier 10, and it will disincentivize the whole concept of driving and grinding up a line to get to this mythical joint, Tier 10, where, let me tell you, the gameplay is quite often every bit as bad as you'll find at Tier 6, Tier 5, and Tier 4, and I think that's a bad thing. So, colour me skeptical when people are, it would be so much better if you could buy this tank and it was a guaranteed equation, because you are never going to get a situation where everyone is getting the same bite of the cherry. That just is not going to happen, especially in a capitalist situation, a consumer-driven marketplace like tanks, where Wargaming has to make money, but they have to do so while protecting the quality of their product. It's a really interesting question and a very, very interesting balancing act that both we have to look at as consumers and Wargaming has to have a look at as a producer. Because I guarantee you, if Wargaming turned around tomorrow and said, we will sell this tank at $30 a pop, it would be going out of the store like a rocket ship. And I can also guarantee you that the overall joy and product value I would draw from driving a Tier 10 vehicle would be severely minimized, and the diminishing of the value of a tech tree Tier 10 tank would be massive. Why would you bother grinding a T62A when you could drive this thing? Now I'm going to get to the tank itself. That's enough of me. That's 7.5 minutes of me carrying on like an absolute pork chop. Let's get to the tank. Well, bugger me, they did something right. If you are just talking about this as a plain old tank, then I am on your team. It is a good tank, and they absolutely did something right. If you have seen the T34-1 or at all seen my showcase on the Chinese tech tree, you would know that I'm a big fan of the 34-1, what it brings to the table, and one of the reasons I like it is it's pretty unique for its tier, right? Well, this is an absolutely unique tank. This is the 121, the Chinese tech tree tank, as it should have been done. It is a good hull down tank, just like a 62A. It has an excellent armor profile. It has the damage per minute numbers to brawl and compete against same tier mediums without having overpowered numbers there at all. And that's important because the 121 is just absolutely god-awful in terms of competing with same tier mediums. The 121 has 2,478 DPM, the tech tree 121. The 121B has 3,156 DPM. It's a little bit more than the E50M, which is bottom of the tree. It's a lot less than the Leopard 1, 400 DPM to be precise, less than the Leopard 1 and the 62As of this world. And it's right in line with other tech tree tanks like the STB1, the FV4202, which has a little under but can go a little over with Hesh. Your M48A1 pattern is right around there as well. These are all tanks where you are in the mix, right? Which is great. You are in the mix as a tech tree tank and you can compete and you can brawl. But it's special because it has no gun depression, right? No gun depression. None. Zip. Nada. 5 degrees is crap for a hull down tank. But it's got 350 alpha. What you will find with this tank, which is just lovely, is that you can play it as a peekaboo tier 10 medium tank, which is theoretically what you would be doing with the 121 with its 400 alpha. You get 350 alpha instead of 400, but you get all the other tools that a medium tank at this tier requires to be successful. DPM, mobility, good armor profile, excellent camo system. All these things make your tank a better tank, and they make your tank a tank that can do all kinds of lovely, lovely things on the battlefield. I don't understand how they got this one so right and how they got the Tech Tree 121 so wrong, in my opinion. 0.326 dispersion and 3.5 seconds of aim time. The 121, the Tech Tree has 0.335 dispersion, 2.2 seconds. Oh, this is where I lose the game, by the way. Right here. I don't lose the game at the end. I lose the game for that shot. Oh, that's a grill. I get set on fire. I get 194 hit points. Ow. That's where I lose that game, right there. Very lazy play. Very, very, very lazy play. So where was I? Okay, so that is great because it's unique. The E50M has 350 alpha, but it's tall as a house. It's got a good armor profile, but it's got massive flat sides. It can sidescrape a bit. It's different to this thing. This thing is under the radar. It is a low-slung human. That is really, really important because it means that this tank has a place within the game that is quite different to everything else that it's going to come up against. And one other thing, that Grill 15, that's the first time I hit him with HE, right? It won't be the last time. If I had just fired APCR, he'd probably be dead and I'd probably win the game. Anyway, if I hadn't driven out sideways in front of two tanks, I too would have won the game already anyway. So let's carry on. It's very, very good at getting in the seams and the cracks of the maps and putting in effective fire, peeking out, booming, and pulling back. It's very, very good with its mobility. Its camo is every bit as good, it feels, as the 62A. Oh, another thing on NA and Asia, I've got slightly different control setups, and it is driving me insane because I can't get the fire button correct on the right-hand side of the screen there. So I keep firing the gun off accidentally. You might have noticed that on Winter Melanovka and a couple of the other matches. I've got to find out a happy medium there. I keep mucking around with it, and it's still not right. Anyway, I digress. So you've got a 121B. It does all these things fantastically. You have good traverse numbers. Let's talk about the traverse numbers. 66.82 degrees of traverse on your tracks and a whopping 48.6 degrees on your turret. So you'll have no problems whatsoever tracking targets. And no pun intended there. You actually have the same armor profile as the 121, the stock 121, except the back of your turret is actually 185 millimeters instead of 60, which is really, really big. Because that means when you have tanks come around behind you and all they can see is your turret, you are quite good at bouncing shots off targets that you can't even see as long as you are constantly moving your tank. You are very good at it. And by the way here, note to humans who are watching this, the reason I could have reset cap from any number of places, but I don't think I would have killed the grill outright. What I'm hoping to do here is charge down, kill the grill, and get the ST1 at some point when I've finished hitting the grill. But bugger me, the ST1 is in cap with him. So get the bounce. I should have pushed right in there. As it is, again, with a HE. That's 2 shots now. 2 shots that I've done like 30% of the damage I should have done with them. He'd be on, what, take another 400 off. He'd be on 900 health. And I hit him again with another one, and he would have been low enough that maybe I could have done something special. Anyway, my problem is that if they have had a red hot go and not just camped, I won't draw. I just won't. It's just not something that's in my nature. I won't do it. There you go, 146. So that's 600. No, that's, in fact, yeah, he'd be on 600 hit points. And then I hit him again. 405. We got a good roll there. So because the grill didn't just sit up the back and do nothing, I will legitimately try and finish the game and win rather than giving him a draw. Because I think That's in the spirit of the contest, and that's all there is to it. You should be having that. If people sit in the back and camp in certain tanks, I will not give them the benefit of that doubt. But well done, MV510. You went and put yourself in cap. You didn't just screw around at the back and do nothing, so good on you. Do I like this tank? Yeah. Do I like it a lot? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Is it... I've played 70 games in it, and I've only had it for a day. And that's a lot of games for me to play in one tank in one day. I think we're about 60, 63% win rate, somewhere in that vicinity. We've gone up and down as the day goes, and about 2,500 average damage. It's not as good as a 62A in my opinion. It's not as good as a lot of tier 10 mediums. It's not an overpowered tank. If you're looking for an OP tank, this probably isn't it. It's really good, but there's not... I mean, I play tier 10 mediums basically for a living. I can't stop playing tier 10 mediums. I am hopelessly addicted to tier 10 mediums. And putting tier 10 mediums in positions like this, where they can be successful and use a super sloped upper glacis, a very, very solid turret, and a 350 alpha gun that's not super accurate, but is accurate enough, is the kind of thing that makes me happy, right? And using my brain to work my way around the battlefield and be successful also makes me very, very happy. So I'm going to clear this E75. I know this T110E5 is coming for me. He's gone and flanked. I think that was a mistake. He could have just used his hit point pull and pushed out here, and he would have had an E75 still alive and a T110E5 both on me. But anyway, I digress. Now there's a PTA coming, so we're going to finish him. I'm still looking for that E5. There he is. He's popped. Lovely mobility, lovely low profile. Let's go and clear the PTA, and then push right around as the E5 comes over. Now the E5 is a lovely mobile tank, but I'm more mobile than him. I'm a proper medium. It moves very graciously. It's neither crazy fast nor silly in terms of traverse. It's just good at both, and that's why I really like it. And the gun is good enough. Like you can see, I am harassing this poor T110E5. I've absolutely ruined his life. He's kind of now stuck because I basically got help. So he had no choice. He's just run out of choices. Like that's the big problem for him here, is he absolutely got stuck with no choices. And that happens. It's happened to me last game. You saw where they had 2 tanks left and they went to the cap and I ran out of choices and I could do nothing but take the bad options. Lovely tank. Is it worth an open-ended crate at 5% chance of getting it, and then 100,000 spare parts it's going to cost you to outfit it to this level, and then the gold that you're going to have to spend, a couple of thousand gold you're going to have to spend to actually... well, when I say a couple of thousand, the 1,000 gold. I mean, if you were to put... You're looking at, what? 10,000 gold, 100,000 spare parts, and 150 bucks? No. It's bloody not worth that. If you're on the borderline, don't do it. Just don't bloody do it. Don't spend the money. Go and get another tank. If you're a collector and you have all the money in the world and you feel that it's affordable, or even if this is your guilty pleasure. Like, I don't drink. I don't spend a cent on alcohol. Don't drink. I have saved thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars compared to my mates because I just don't go out and drink. And we go to dinner, and you know, if I go out with a mate and we go to dinner, his share of the bill is 250 bucks and my share of the bill is 100. And that's... If that's you, if this is your guilty pleasure, if this is what you do to have some fun instead of going out and pissing it all up against the wall, buy the bloody tank because you deserve it. If you just can't afford it, don't buy it because it's not worth stretching the budget for this tank. 10 grand's worth of gold, you know, however many boxes it takes. It could take you $300. It could take you $10, $20. I don't know, but you have to come to terms with what's affordable for you. And for me, I wouldn't buy the tank. It's just far too much to invest at an open-ended kind of thing. And I hope, for God's sakes, that they don't just sell the tank. I don't want everyone to jump in and buy it because I want tier 10 to remain relatively free of premium vehicles. That's today's Bushka's take on the freaking world. God, I've got a lot to talk about. I never shut up. I can see now why Rach thinks I'm a little bit of a carry-on. That'd be my missus. Love you all, guys. I hope you can forgive me if you disagree with me. That's fair enough. I completely understand. And it takes different strokes for different folks, and I'm completely comfortable with us having different opinions on this. My opinion, pretty much like everyone else's, is quite selfish. I want the game to be successful because I love doing this for a living. I love the people I meet in the game, and I love the actual playing of the game still. And I worry that there's a very thin line there that could be crossed with the way these tanks are presented and the way they are available to the marketplace. I don't want that thin line to be crossed. I want it to remain pretty much where it's at now in terms of premium tanks at the tier. Until next time, guys, look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield.